Um, I'm Richard.
I'm Sierra.
And it's my wife Sierra.
Hello, guys.
We started a little podcast. When? How long? Like 2 years ago. And and we really don't have in comparison to the Tongan pro athletes that you guys got going on. We really don't have a focus of kind of our podcast. We just talk about our hobbies, things that we like to do, food.
Sure.
And we talk a lot about football. We're both football fans, Raider fans. So it's mostly Raiders football.
Okay.
Yeah, another thing that we wanted to get into was kind of like the high school kids, like,
Sure.
The up and coming kids, and their goals and dreams, and just kind of getting, getting their story and just kind of getting them used to just being in kind of like a little spotlight kind of a thing. So we were thinking about that thing too. And then, and I was just reaching out to people that I was friends with on Facebook, and I told Sierra, I was like, yeah, actually, this is a family of my dad's, and I don't know him. I don't really know him like that. Me and Sierra actually are good customers of your house.
Your house, yeah.
We're big fans of the Odai. We actually did a review on the Odai, and that's our top rated Odai of out of all the.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
All the ones I've ever tried.
I was like, yeah, this is Stella's brother, and he played in the NFL. And she was like, what? I was like, yeah, and but yeah, my brother actually had a poster of yours, the truck.
The Tonga truck, poster, yes.
Yeah. Oh man, it was just so funny because as a kid, I grew up just kind of like wanting to be like my older brother, and then to actually know that there was a Tongan, I'm like 10, 11 years old. And to actually know that there was Tongans in the NFL, that was kind of shocking. To me. Like, what? Like I knew about the NFL, but I haven't heard of any Tongans in the NFL. So it was just huge.
Back in those days, I started playing. Well, we left Tonga when I was 9 years old, and this was like in 1974, and then moved to the island. We all moved to Hawaii. In search of a better life for everybody. That's my story is about the same as everybody's story. We all migrated to this country just looking for a better life, and parents looking to better life for their children. And I kind of knew early in life that I was pretty good at athlete. I was a pretty good athlete. Especially football. I was good in football, basketball, baseball, but all the other sports was too boring for me. So football was more physical, and there's more fans out there cheering you on and all that stuff. So
yeah.
But I took a liking to football, and this. But like you said about the NFL back in those days, coming to America and looking at these athletes making all kind of money, that made it to the NFL, and the time they're getting paid really well, and that was the drive for me. It was that, man, if I can make it to that level, and achieve to make it to the NFL, it would be great. But and early in life, I had it in my mind that, that's where I wanted to get to.
Okay.
And it worked out for me. Actually, it worked out for me to make it to the NFL. But as high school kids nowadays, we have more kids now in the high school coming up, and we have more kids in the NFL now.
Right.
Back in those days, we'll go back there. It's Vaisika Hema was the first one to make it into the NFL, which was 1986. He broke into the NFL, and then the following year was myself and a couple other guys, Stanley Mataele, Lakehe Muli. But after those years, we started seeing more kids coming in. Maybe like 5 years later than that, and then we start seeing more kids coming up through the college ranks and making it to the NFL. But just for us Polynesian, we are very good we're very good athletes. We're big people,
Yeah.
and we can take the pain, and we can take the pounding, with playing sports. But that's not necessarily that's what we all good at. We're all good at everything else that we decide to go into in life. No matter how, well, no matter how hard it is, but I think we know how to survive because we migrate here and survive in a different country. And the mentality is that, man, there's so much here, so much opportunity that you can, choose whatever you feel like you want to get into
Right.
in life. Uh, you know, football athletes is athletic. Like, I'll just go for myself because I played football, but that was it's an opportunity, the opportunity to make it to that level and use that opportunity to go further than that after playing sports. Because the lifespan of a football player, especially myself as a running back,
Running
it's
back.
only
Yeah.
3 years. It's only 3 years, but if you play a little bit longer than that, that's a plus.
Right.
Then you have your life to live after that. I mean, you're done at 28, not even 30, and you have the rest of your life to live. And the money that hopefully you um, put some money away to get your life going in the next couple of years before you find something else to fall, to do to get into.
Right.
So, that's
Yeah. So obviously you like you said you kind of discovered that young or early that this is something that you want to do. But just to go just to take it back, we're kind of let you just kind of tell your story. And this we were talking last night, what are the things that we want to kind of get out of this? And
Sure.
my main thing is there's a lot of things that we can just look up on the internet, and which we did, and kind of
Sure.
see info that we found on you.
Right.
It was only one article back in 09, and then there's some things on Wikipedia, but basically the things that hopefully you can kind of give us a little bit of details on is the things that the people can't find out there, just the little stories maybe of your family, and then how you grew up. And we'll start back in Tonga, and
Sure.
then your move to Hawaii, and then
Sure.
after that to Pennsylvania. And then we'll just, if we have questions, we'll just jump in there, but just kind of let you tell your story. And all those things, and then all the way
Okay.
up leading up to the NFL.
Sure. Yeah, we grew up in. I came from Nuku Nuku, village of Nuku Nuku. My dad's from Nuku Nuku. His name is Sione Manoa, Sione Tuak Manoa. My mom's name is Losaline Pulotu Tuione. She's from Hapai, and we actually grew up in Tonga. My dad was a policeman in Tonga at the time when we left. Actually, my mom actually came to Hawaii in 1970 to to get her. My uncle was already there in Hawaii. He came there to help build the Polynesian Cultural Center back in the
Oh, wow.
60s.
That's cool.
Actually, in the
Wow.
60s, yeah. So that was the way we came to America was through my uncle. He sponsored my mom, and she came and got got all our paperwork done. So when we left Tonga, we were already we had our green cards already when we left Tonga. So we already had family there. So we got to Hawaii. Um, we didn't know one word of English.
And this is you and how many siblings?
I have two older brothers and a young sister. I have Stella is my youngest sister, and I have two older brothers named Uluwaki Ofa, and the other one is Samsoni. We all live here in the Bay Area,
Okay.
and but yeah, it's just the transition from Tonga to here as a youngster. Comes with challenges of speaking, not knowing the language and
Right.
not knowing the culture and things. It's a things when you look at it, it's a whole different atmosphere than what we were used to back in Tonga.
Right.
But with time, everything, we got to know what to, got used to the situation and got used to Hawaii, and that's why I started to play sports.
Now in Hawaii, I know I haven't been to Hawaii. You've been to Hawaii. But it has that like all I hear about Hawaii is kind of like touristy. It's not really as island as like Tonga or Samoa. Now back in that time, was it kind of like that, or was it more?
Oh yeah, it's just depends where you're at in Hawaii. If you're in Waikiki, then yes, that's
Yeah.
where you see all the tourists and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You're
But
in
when
the
you,
Big Island.
yeah,
It's straight island out there.
oh, you liked it out there. Yeah,
Like it.
yeah. I call Hawaii home now. I mean, I left Hawaii a long time ago, but I still call it home because that's where I grew up. As a youngster. But if you go over to more to the north side, then you can see the big difference from Waikiki to all the way to the outskirts of Hawaii. You get everything there from whatever you food you can get in Tonga, you can get there.
Right.
Because people grow there, they have a little farm, they grow their own stuff there. Plus all the stuff that is in Tonga, like the tava, whatever, everything. It's already there. So
Well, one of the questions I had for you is before moving to Hawaii and everything, going to school out there and things like that, what were things that you did or that you liked as a kid?
Most of the time, sports was the big part of what I did the most as a kid. I was involved in every sport. So if there was other besides sports, it's going to the beach across, the beach is right across the street. So you go over to there, go swimming,
Yeah.
or whatever we do. But most of the time is, I was involved in sports. It's from one sports to another, I was involved in it. But other than that, it's just hanging out with my guys and going to the beach, going swimming as a kid. So.
Okay.
That's cool.
And then so you said you went to Kahuku. Were they as big? Because I know once you hear Kahuku now, they're just known for this big house football program. Were they like that back then also when you were going there?
Yeah, at the time, I think Kahuku was always a contender in Hawaii for the high school for high school, because most of the kids, a lot of the private school comes and take a lot of the best kids out of anywhere in Hawaii because they can recruit and take those kids. And a lot of the kids from Kahuku actually, went to all these private schools. But Kahuku was always a contender in high school. But when I left, then like maybe like 5 or 10 years later, Kahuku was starting to win the state championship as because all the private schools are always the one who always wins the state championship. But as Kahuku was not even private school, I mean they did really well with all the high schools out there. Plus, it's a small community. I mean, I don't know how many. I think not even 1,000 kids go to this school, and that's from like 7th grade to 12th grade.
Yeah, when I looked it up last night, it was about 1,300 kids.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's bigger now, but back in our days, it was like not even 1,000 people.
Yeah.
So, kids.
Right. And so now you're there, and then you're not there for long, right? You only attended Kahuku freshman year.
No, I went actually elementary school. I went to Haula High School elementary, and then 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade. I was at Kahuku. I left after my 10th grade year. I moved to Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with friends of the family. They, they were the Tylers. Like they uh, they actually take vacations every summer, come to Hawaii, and they come to the church that we were attending at the time was the Kahuku Methodist Church.
Okay.
So the friendship developed there with my parents, with the couple, and I don't know how many. Couple of years later, they wanted to see if they wanted to see if they can take my sister with them, and then my father said, "No, we can't take him. I take her. That's my only daughter.
We like her too much.
I'll take this guy." I said, "Take this guy."
I have 3 of these guys. You can take one of them.
But
Yeah, I think you mentioned that in the interview too, and we were talking about it a little bit. I was like, man, you guys must have really been tight with this family to
yeah.
And it wasn't clear whether the whole family moved to Pennsylvania or just you.
Just me.
It was just you. Okay,
It was
so
just
it was just you.
Yeah, it was just me living. You know, at the time, I was really popular back in Kahoku because our sophomore year team won every game. We won as a sophomore, man. And then they were ready for me to come up to varsity the following year.
Right.
You know, because our team was really good. The 10th grade, 9th and 10th grade team was really good. So it was just a shocker to them that that I, I told them that I was moving. And they didn't believe it. I mean, they didn't, man. But what a shocker though, taking leaving Hawaii. I was on top playing football and going to a place that I have never seen before.
Yeah.
But
and that I just kind of think about that. That kind of shows a lot of faith in your parents to kind of just have that, not only a trust in them in that family, but just have the faith that you will become something better if you went out there. Did you always get that sense from your parents? Like, did they always display faith for you?
Yeah, it's those philosophers. They always dream of something. When we moved to America, and he was thinking, he had a dream that one of his sons moved in with a family and become Mr. whatever. But and that was his stuff. He told me about what his dream was. I said, okay, maybe it's not for me, but maybe somebody else. Because I'm doing pretty good right now. You know what I mean? He's like,
yeah. So you leave Hawaii, and man, I can just imagine the culture there in Pennsylvania, because just growing up out here in the Bay Area, there's tons of us, and I don't know, back in those times, I can just imagine it was just, you were probably the only Tongan there. I would have
there was actually Tongans there.
Oh, really?
Already, because I moved there in 1980. I think it was in 1980 when I moved there. There was already Tongans there.
We're already out there in the East, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They were already, they were Polynesian. They had a Polynesian show at a restaurant there. And I was surprised that they actually saw my name in a paper, and then they try to find me. And then
this is why you're playing high school?
Yes, when I was when I was playing in high school.
They said, I'm going to recruit that guy.
They were trying to figure out a way how you guys were related.
Yeah, that's it. But they were really nice. And I mean, I think that's what made my stay there a little bit better, because I knew there was Tongans there. You know,
Yeah.
they used to come and pick me up and take me out to dinner and take me to the show. So, you know, I feel more comfortable because now I can speak the language and I can, you know, there's somebody there that's relatable to being in Pennsylvania. But you know, with time, things healed. Things, you know, when I first got there, I wanted to go home. You know, the first 2, 3 months, I cried and called home and said, hey, you know, said I'll come home. I want to come home.
Ain't no beach over here.
You know? And it was during the winter time when I got there. Like I said, I
Yeah.
was telling somebody that, you know, when I got there, it was snowing and it was dark and the snow was dirty. You know, it wasn't that from the street, you know. So I was like, man, what did I do? And what did I put myself into here? So, but eventually things got better. Uh, you know, it's just like I said, is, you know, if I dwelled on me being there and not wanting to be there, I wouldn't liked it. But I
Yeah.
changed my mindset. I said, you know, my dad said, because I called home, I said, hey, I want to come home. But my mom gave up and said, hey, let him come home because I don't want anything happen to him. You know,
Oh, right.
that was her.
Yep.
So, you know, you know how Tongan dads are always give you the ultimatum, huh?
And you said you basically kind of knew early that this was kind of the direction you were going, playing football. So did
Yes,
that happen out there in Pennsylvania, or this
that
happened
happened.
before
This
in
happened
Hawaii?
in Hawaii when I was playing when I was a Pop Warner, like 12, 13, 14 years old.
Oh, okay.
I kind of knew at the time.
Is there anything else that you thought maybe you would do like later in life? Like, I mean, because as young kids, we all have dreams of
Sure.
becoming something. So
Right.
was it always the NFL for you? Like, was that your goal, or did you have any other things?
Yeah, my whole idea was I'm going to make it to the NFL. I'm going to play my whole life in the NFL. That's the thinking. You know what I mean? You know, that was the whole thinking is I make it to the NFL. I'm going to be in the NFL until whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen, you know.
Yeah.
Reality hits, you know.
You only got part of your dream.
A part of it, exactly. A little piece of it, you know. But that was, you know, as a kid, it's like, man, make it to the NFL and I'm set, you know, for life.
Yeah,
But
and out there, you made All-American out in Pennsylvania. And when I looked it up, because I seen that you made All-American 1982, and I actually went to the team, I didn't find you on the running back. So I was like, was that a mistake that they put on there? And then I scrolled down to the defense, and you actually made All-American as a defensive lineman.
defense, yeah.
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 So you basically played the whole game.
Yeah, I played the whole game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Played
and
Iron Ball.
I was the punter too. So yeah, I was in the game the whole time, but you know, Phil's characters anyway. So
That's right.
And growing up, when you got interested in football, did you have a favorite NFL team at the time? Or
that's the thing, though. I didn't.
Just tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was no, but you know, I think when I moved to Pennsylvania, then I became a Steelers fan
okay.
Yeah.
because I was in Pennsylvania. Then we used to, as kids, we used to go park cars during the game. You know, at the Steelers game, so just to make a little money on the side.
Yeah.
So one of my buddies' uncle used to own a couple lots out there. So we go out there and direct cars to, you know, park cars while the game's going on. So I think that's the whole thing is I started to watch more of the Steelers football games, and there was a couple. Franco Harris was probably one of the guys that I was looked up to because he was a running back for the Steelers. So, but yeah, I think the Steelers was at the time it was the team that I followed.
Yeah, you're we were looking on the map. You're where you played high school, definitely not too far from
No, yeah, it's close.
Steelers, right?
Close to Pittsburgh. So, yeah, the high school is really good. It's called North Allegheny High School, and it was only 12 and 11 to 12 grades. The high school was, and nice school, nice school. It was in a great environment. But yeah, I really liked the school. I mean, when I got there, they weren't doing really well with football, and they hired a new coach. I came in. They didn't know I played football, but at the our first year we won most of our games. We only lost 1 or 2 games, and the following year we won every game. And then now they're like a powerhouse at that high school.
Oh, wow.
So,
and as far as the culture, how was it different? We know how polys are way more outgoing than the average person, but how was the culture there and at that school?
Well, at the time, I probably one of maybe 5 kids that were dark skinned at that school. I think, and I had an afro back in the day with the pick on there. But hey, you get tested too, with kids trying to test you.
Yeah.
You stand your ground, and then after maybe a couple times, I was friends with everybody.
Yeah. That's definitely, I think, something that sports help with. Yeah. I think when you're involved in sports, for some reason, it just attracts. You make friends a lot faster, I think.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah, if you're playing sports and the team is doing well, and yeah, I think that a lot of times that your friendship with people, they take a liking to you.
Yeah. So your senior year, I see that you got recruited heavily. Did that just start in your senior year?
No, I started my junior year.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it recruited out my junior year, but heavily in my senior year. And it's a process that you need to pay attention to when you get recruited. Of especially our young kids now, they need to figure out what they want out of the school they're going to. Because if you're good enough, they're going to give you a scholarship. But that scholarship is for you to go to school, not to play football. Football got you there, but just what I got recruited. I got recruited from a lot of the universities out here in America, but you only can visit 5 schools. So I took all 5 visits, and just to compare schools and who has what for what I had, what I wanted. But I picked Penn State and I think I made the best choice for me, picking Penn State to go to school at Penn State. But a lot of these kids here sometimes get blinded by what the schools offer them, and they take them out and have a good time with them and all that. But a lot of times you have to realize what the school is telling you, what they're going to give you. Right. What position you're going to play. How far are you from the depth chart on that school you're going to? Right. Are you going to, you got to wait your turn to get into. Because some of these kids get into the school. They were the top player out of high school. Everybody paid attention to them. They got all the attention. Right. When you get to college, you're just a number. You're just another guy. Because there's other All-Americans there. You're not just the All-American, you're the only All-American coming out of your high school. But when you get to college, they're all All-Americans. Yeah. And you have to start over. That's the thing. You have to start all over. And you're on the bottom, work your way yourself back up to where you want to get to. Yeah. Sometimes you don't get there. but that's the challenges you have to go through. That's you got to you put into that position, you have to challenge it, then you find a way to do it.
Yeah.
That's
I
how
think
it's.
that speaks a little bit to your mental toughness, because I know, just being around the community and just not just Polynesians, but just sports people in general, that struggle is real. Going from having all the attention and then going to college and not getting as much attention. Maybe you get a little bit, depending, how good you are, but you definitely don't. There's a definite drop off of attention as being the
Big
guy
time.
to just one of the other guys, and that takes mental toughness to kind of go through that.
Yeah, big time, because a lot of these kids, I think that's probably one of the big downfall for some of these kids is going there and not getting the attention they used to get out of high school.
Yeah.
Because when you get there, it's not like, when you get recruited to go and for them to take you around, they're all nice to you. Oh, come do this, I'll give you this. Then you get there the first day of practice, get over here, go do this. You know what I mean? The tone of voice change.
Different tone. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah. Whoa. What happened for you? Hey, hi buddy, how you doing? So.
And from the article that we read from 2009, they basically, you had said they treated you like they would anyone else, right? At Penn State.
Well, I think that was the turning point for me to pick in Penn State, was that they were real when I got there. The coach told me, he said, I'm going to give you a scholarship to come to school here. And then football is second. If you don't pass your classes, you can't play football. And this is the people you're going to live with, which the dorms. This is the food you're going to eat, which was the dorm food. And that kind of resonated with me, because I said, yeah, I mean, this is, if I'm coming here, this is what this is the people I'm going to hang out with.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of times school's going to treat you. They want you to come to their school, and they're going to give you the best when they recruit you. Tell you what you want to hear, tell you all that stuff, But in the back of your mind, you have to just kind of realize, just think to yourself, you got to compare it, all your trips, you got to compare this to that, and make your choice. And also have to look at the team roster. How are you going to fit into the team roster? Because some of these kids the school sounds good and they treat you well, but when you get there, there's already 2 or 3 guys ahead of you. You gotta fight through to get. But hey, if you're good enough, then you're gonna make it somehow.
Well, you were definitely good enough in your area that Pitt and Penn State definitely recognize you, because we hear a lot of kids that they're good in their area during high school, but for some reason the colleges in the area totally misses them for some reason.
Yes.
But just according to just the information that we got, that you were recruited by both Pitt and Penn State, that you definitely didn't go unnoticed there in the area.
Yeah.
What was because we saw there that they just had won the championship. Penn State did.
Yes.
I guess the year before you got there. And then I think your last 2 years, you guys were in the championship. You guys won it on your last year, but in '85, you guys were in the hunt too. And it looks like you guys were number one most of the year on that year when you guys lost to Oklahoma. So just go over a little bit about those two teams and maybe the differences, and then going from the '85 lost to the '86 winning the whole thing.
Yeah, because in my first year at Penn State, we went to the Aloha Bowl, which every year after every year, if you get a chance to go to a bowl game, that's like the prize for the team to go to a bowl game. So my first year was Hawaii. Second year we didn't go to a bowl game because we didn't qualify to go to a bowl game. But the following year was my junior year. We were number one. We played against Oklahoma. We lost to Oklahoma. And when we came back, there was a lot of seniors on the team that were going to go on the draft. So they all decided to stay back and they said, well, most of them are gonna try to stay back and try to go
Give it one more go.
give it another time, one more time to go to play in the national championship. It worked out for us. We didn't lose one game, and we actually were number 2 when we played Miami.
Right.
And I mean, that was a good game.
Yeah.
But
It looked like it from the
yeah.
score.
Yeah, because
And
we
that was
played it.
Miami was basically on the rise too. They had their high power Jimmy Johnson, right?
Miami they were loaded, man. They had I think they had 4 or 5 first round draft picks that year. But they were loaded, man. And hey, God be home, man. We won the game. So I left college with this with the championship ring, which was awesome, because I was even in high school, I hardly lost. Maybe I lost two games in high school when I was up there with North Allegheny.
Right.
So, but I was always on the winning team.
Yeah. And the legendary, Coach Paterno, just he's one of those icons, I think, in college football, because I remember just growing up and paying attention a little bit to college football. We were bigger NFL fans, so we didn't watch a lot of college football. But when we did, we always noticed the white team, the white helmet team, and the coach with the glasses.
Yeah,
he was just legendary. So what are some things that maybe that you've seen every day in practice that maybe that just made you know that he was a special coach, that he lived up to what everybody looked at him as?
Yeah, well, Joe Paterno was on the practice field. You think you're getting away with things, and all of a sudden you hear his voice say, "What the hell are you doing?" He's walking that way, knowing you doing something back here, and that's the thing about him. He knows everything. You can
got that sixth sense.
Yeah, and whatever he says, whatever he tells you, he says, if I tell you to be in the meeting at 5 o'clock, you're here at 4:45. That was you're late to a meeting. Oh my goodness. You're gonna run extra laps or something. But he knew how to mold some of, we're young at we're all young, trying to find who ourselves are at that age. And I think he was great and molding people, letting them know the right from wrong. You make this decision, this is the consequences of it. And he stuck to his words when he tells you, you're here to go to school and football is second. You're here.
Right.
And he stuck to it. I mean, when you need help, he said, if you need help, ask, because I'll give you help. With studying, he used to put us in study halls after practice. Our first 2 years in college, we used, study hall, mandatory study hall. So, yeah, he's a man of his words, and he took care of it. I mean, even when kids leave college, that didn't make it to the NFL, he helps you get a job. He said, if you need my help to get a job, put you somewhere, he'll help you do that. So he was a great coach.
Right.
That's awesome.
Do you have anything?
Well, I was just gonna ask you, why number 44? What was the significance for you?
Well, that was my number as a kid. I wore that number as a kid, Pop Warner, and at number 44. I went all the way to Penn State at number 44. When I got drafted to the Browns, somebody else had the number 44, and he was a pretty good running back too. His name is Ernest Biner. So when I got there, he said, "You want the jersey?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's going to cost you though." I said, "Okay, then you keep it then." I don't want it. And then 42 was available. I said, "I'll take 42."
Right.
And then when I went to Indianapolis, and then I got the number back, number 44.
Right. Yeah, and before the draft, actually, we saw that you got invited to the Senior Bowl and the NFL Combine. Were you able to attend those events?
Yes, because we played the national championship out in Arizona, and then from there I went to Hawaii for the Hula Bowl.
Hula Bowl, yeah.
Yeah, right after the Hula Bowl, they had the Senior Bowl. I went to Alabama for the Senior Bowl, and then right after that, I went up to the Combine.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, because it's I don't think it was televised how it is now. Because
yeah,
right now they televise
everything.
every little event.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah,
And um and how you mentioned about Vice Kahema being the first Tongan. So he was drafted in '86. You were drafted in '87. And you mentioned earlier about just being on great teams, which definitely holds true because even when you got drafted into Cleveland was good at that time. They made to the playoffs. I think like every year you were there.
yes. Every year I was there, we made it to the playoffs. Exactly.
Yeah. And then I was looking down the list of the draft. Actually, it was a bunch of you guys from Penn State that got drafted that year. Like,
Yes, that year.
I was like, they look like they drafted the whole team here. Yeah, you guys in
Yeah.
the third. I think you had two other guys in the first, your running
Yes.
back and your linebacker.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys had a great
Yeah.
team to all make it to the league.
Yeah, yeah. We, like you said, there's two guys went in the first round too. The running back was my roommate, and then there was four of us roommates. Three of us got drafted. The other one was just he was a junior at the time. But all three of us in the roommates got drafted to the NFL, and like you said, we have like 8 guys got drafted that year to the NFL, and some of those guys were the guys that stayed back to help the team. But it was an exciting year. I mean, like I said before, back in those days we had 12 rounds,
Right.
Yeah.
so there was a lot of people got drafted. Nowadays it's only 7th round, but
And again,
first,
it wasn't as popular and televised how it
no.
is. So, how about the call that you got? Did you get the call kind of like how they show it now? Like as soon as they like right before they pick you, they gave you the call, or was it different? A little bit different back then?
Yeah, back then is, they call you and let you know that they drafted you, but the first day is only like they had it televised, but the only first two rounds was televised, and then the rest of it is, you know, they call you and let you know if they drafted you. But I got a call, the next day from Cleveland, Marty Schottenheimer, bless his soul, he just passed.
Right.
But he called. I was out the night before. We were out having fun at the bars, and so I got a call the next day from Marty Schottenheimer letting me know they drafted me. So I answered the phone. He said, "Are you ready to come to Cleveland? This is Coach, Marty Schottenheimer." And I said, "Yeah, I'm ready." He said, "Well, pack your stuff and be out here in 2 days."
Oh.
So,
I
pack
was
my
gonna
stuff.
ask you, who were you with when you got the call?
My roommate, we were
Okay.
sitting there in our house, and I got the call from, we didn't have cell phone at the time, so we had to,
Right.
Right. Just
at home.
landline.
Yeah.
So,
And did
but
you
yeah,
you said you all three went to the NFL, right? So
yes.
I mean, you guys were basically just in there hyping each other up, right? Just
Yeah. Well, we were happy for our one roommate. He was the 14th picked that year,
nice.
Yeah.
the running back. So we were celebrating with him. But yeah, it was nice because all three of us got to go and play in the NFL, and we still keep in touch today. Everybody's, but good friendship.
Yeah.
You make good friendship in college, and that's probably one of the best times being in your life.
Yeah.
Getting to know some of the players, and you still keep in touch with them, and those friendships will last forever.
Right.
Right.
What would you say was the biggest difference from high school to Penn State? Football
Well,
wise.
yeah, just the whole big, the going from high school to college is a big difference, and going from college to professional level is bigger difference. It's a lot different than, because now, you're going from high school to college, you're all going in as trying to figure out how you fit in there, fit into the football scheme of that college, and how you're going to do. Still, you're still trying to develop yourself as a
Right.
football player, and they're not they're on the same level as you are, but going to the NFL is a whole different because now you're going into a place to everybody's good.
Yeah.
You got drafted for a reason. They took you, they give you a chance to go to the NFL because they see something in you. And when you go there, it's, like I said before, is that you're taking somebody else's job. You're going to take somebody's, for you to make the team, somebody has to leave,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you're taking food off the table from their table. But
So I can imagine the locker room difference going from kind of like a more camaraderie. I mean, you hear it all the time with the NFL team, especially with the winning ones, the one that win the whole thing or make it the playoffs. The camaraderie is tight, but yeah, like the part about taking somebody's job, maybe in the training camp before the season start. That's a different that's a
Yeah.
different vibe right there.
mhm.
That's that professional, like, hey,
You
like,
don't mess with my
we're
money.
cool, but
Yeah, we're
we're
cool.
competing
Yeah,
for jobs here.
yeah. Hey, we're on the field, we're cool, or we're competing. Off the field,
Yeah.
we can, we're friends off the field, but still, there's still that the what do you call it? Inside of you, you want to be, you want to challenge whatever you're looking, to do with football, because it's tough, because it's a physical sport, and if you get hurt, you're taken off the field and you're not practicing, and you got to come back, and maybe somebody else is stepping up to take your position, and so it's a lot of things goes into it, uh, you know. But the life of a football player, it's a good life. But they give you everything, that they treat you like a king there. They give you everything. So just like food, whatever they bring, they do your laundry. Nowadays they do your laundry. They have chiropractors there, masseuse, whatever.
Yeah.
But soon, if they don't need you, it's
Bye
it's
bye.
see you later.
You find out how much of a business it is, right?
Exactly. Yep.
And yeah, you were on some great teams, like I mentioned before. You guys made the playoffs every year, and in the championship games,
Yes.
you guys were right there at the door.
At the
basically.
door, man.
Yeah.
Door. 1987, 1986. So it was Denver,
Denver. Yeah.
Elway,
Both times.
both times.
Yeah.
86 and 87, both times. It was Elway, and that was tough. Such tough 2 losses to them, because they won at the end of the game.
Yeah. And at least now I know we definitely have something in common. We hate Elway and the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
As a Raider fan, he definitely ruined my childhood. Man. That guy, man. Yeah, he's one of the greats, man. And then before you even went to the Colts, I see that you didn't play in the 1990 season.
Yeah, I got hurt, so I was on injured reserve, 1990 season, and then I went to New Orleans I got picked up on when I left Cleveland. They actually traded me to New Orleans. I was there for the summer. I was there during training camp, and then they released me, and then Indianapolis picked me up for that season. So I had a little stay with New Orleans for like 3 or 4 months before I went into Indianapolis.
Oh, okay. And yeah, and actually my most memorable game that I remember you actually playing is with the Colts. I don't really remember any games of you playing in Cleveland. I think I was just too young to be paying attention to the NFL
Yeah.
at that time. But I do remember the game. It was a loss to the Bills, and I think it was a night game because I just remember it was on TV.
Uh-huh.
It was like the only game on. We were watching it, and you scored a touchdown in that game.
Yeah.
And we were all cheering, but you guys were getting blown out.
Well, we only won one game that season.
Yeah.
We only won one game.
And I didn't know that until I looked at the stats and saw that. I was like, man, they only won one game that. I mean, that wasn't the one, but that was the one we were all cheering because that's the one you scored on. So yeah, that was my most memorable game of yours. And yeah, and it kind of looked like Penn State because like you said, you went back to 44.
44.
The colors were the same. The blue and the white. And and that was it. That was it after that season.
That was it after that season. Yeah.
What? How did it come to that decision?
Well, I got hurt, so and then I didn't get picked up again with my contract. So, I figure I give it up, and rightly so. I mean, there's that the time that you got to make that decision to leave and be able to walk, be able to get up every day, and it's still not. I mean, you get up every morning with just little pain here and there, but I'm okay. Better than other guys that I played with, with aches and pains and knee problem and joint problems, and but it comes with what we did. It's just a choice that we made, and that's what you have to live with. I'll do it again if I had to.
Right.
What's one thing that you would tell someone who is like, let's just say our son, Rich's son, Isaiah, he's a sophomore right now. And he's getting pumped off of trucking people here and there right now. So what's one thing that you would tell someone his age right now if they aspire to be in the NFL?
Do everything you can to become whatever the you need to do to get to the NFL. Do it. Find a way to do it. Watch films of your position, how well they do, what kind of drills they're doing, what kind of health food they eat, what kind of training they do, to give yourself that chance. And I said, go for it, man. Find a way to do it. Find out a way to do it.
Right.
And if you don't make it, you're up here. You already made it to here, and it'll prepare you for anything that comes your way. If you give it all, you do the research of how to, a running back. Go look at all the running backs. What are they doing? What kind of drills are they doing? What kind of workout are they doing? What kind of food are they eating? Put yourself in that position to just realize that, hey, am I made for this or not?
Right.
Or what these guys are doing. Because you got to put yourself, in an uncomfortable way to make it to the NFL. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You got to put in a lot of work. It's not like, I said it before, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't put in the work to make it, the talents only can go so far.
Right.
Right.
but you have to put in the work of what it takes to make it in anything you do in life. You got to do research. You know, if you're going to be an engineer, you're not going to sit around and all of a sudden become an engineer one day. You know what I mean? I mean, just, you know, this guy, if be an engineer, you're out there reading every book that you can get and find out, you know, take the classes that you need to take to become an engineer. Same thing as as athletic. You have to look at people, what kind of work ethics they have every day as an athlete. You know, the top athletes, they're never satisfied with what they have. They're never satisfied.
Yeah.
With what they have, because they're already good enough to do it, but they're never satisfied with what they're good enough. They're looking to see, how else can I make myself better?
How many more Super Bowls can I go to?
Yes,
Yeah.
there you go. You know, God bless him though. You know, he's an example of a guy that, you know, he does everything. I mean, off season is probably the most important part of training as an athlete, especially football. What you do off season, it's it's how well you play during the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that me and my son definitely talk about. But just speaking, going back to yourself and you personally, like, and I know Tongans have a problem with kind of talking about themselves a little bit, but what, just looking back at your journey from high school to Penn State to the Browns, getting drafted, what are some things that you know for sure that maybe you were blessed with by God? And we know anybody that went through your journey to make it that far, definitely there was hard work involved.
Yeah.
But just maybe some things that you know that you were blessed with that maybe helped you to reach that. What, just looking back.
Sure. I, I think a lot of has to do with people came before me, my parents, my grandparents, you know, they all prayed, you know, to, even for myself, I think they most of them prayed that I make it. But, you know, but I didn't see it at the time. But now sitting back and looking back at what happened and how I made it, it was, a lot of it has to do with the upbringing that I came up with people giving me advice and even migrating to here to America for me to get that chance. If I was still in Tonga, you know, maybe rugby or something, but otherwise, I think it has to do with a lot of praying and all that stuff. Um, but you know, all that praying cannot get you to where you gotta go. You have to do the work to get there. You know, but I think that the thing is that they prayed, and then, you know, you get that. God gave you the strength and the wisdom to, you know, to move on and say, well, these guys are trying to get you somewhere, so better do something. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, but all of it has to do with you. You know what you want in life. Um, you know, if you want to be mediocre, you're going to be mediocre. But if you want to be somebody, just, you know, just life lessons. You gotta, if you want to make $1 million, don't, you know, think like $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, think like $1 million. America has so much to offer, man. It's just a lot of times we limit ourselves of what we can do because we're so comfortable where we're at. You
Yeah.
know, and I just, you know, for all these kids, go for it, man. Go do whatever is necessary for you to get to where you want to get to. Don't be satisfied with where you're at right now, because there's so much things out there. There's so much out there you can go out and get and become successful. Don't be satisfied with your life at right now. You can be better.
Right.
Even the millionaires, they want more money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so now that we talked a little bit about the whole football journey, we're going into life after football. See what you've been into, gotten into after that. The only thing I think we were able to see on the internet and find through the article again is you started a gym, I think, with your cousin.
Yeah.
And then obviously all the way till now with the Tongan pro athletes online. But before we get to that, usually we have a little segment in our podcast where we have what we call it this or that. So Sierra's gonna give you some quick hit questions about this or that, and then just the first that come to your mind, and what are you choosing?
It's basically the one like sports segment that I can have. I'm new to this whole thing.
Okay.
But I kind of just wanted to generalize it and not give you all sports.
Okay.
So Lusipi or a Lupulu?
Lupulu.
And you have to give the reasons.
Well, the thing is, the Lusipi, you know, the part of the sipi they use is all fat. You know, because I see them buy all the time. I was like, my wife buys it. I said, why are you buying it? Man, it's a lot of fat in it.
So you still got that sports mentality, because I love it. Okay. Watermelon or mango otai?
Watermelon. Watermelon is my favorite. You know, that was one of my favorite things to eat in the summertime was watermelon.
Yeah. I have to agree. That's just one thing I could eat all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. This is kind of a controversy between the two of us. Rodgers or Mahomes? Which one's better in your eyes?
Well, I think Mahomes is, you know, after he won early in life the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, Rodgers been in there for a long time, but you know, I go with the younger kid, man. I think he has a better chance of winning more championship.
Right.
You
Okay.
know? Yeah.
Okay. And then one team that you think besides the Bucks and the Chiefs that could possibly go to the Super Bowl this coming year?
Oh wow.
Yeah, we have fights about this one.
Maybe Buffalo.
That's what we think. Yeah.
That's what we think too.
Yeah.
Kind of think like Josh Allen might have it in him, and Mahomes, and then who's our other one? Kyler Murray, I think, has a pretty good chance of going somewhere too. All right. Well, that is my this or that. I just
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, and actually that reminded me of one more thing that we were discussing was to catch up to Brady at this point is we're not gonna say it's impossible because we don't like to think that way.
Mhm.
But who would you think that's in the NFL now would have a chance to come closest, if not to break it?
Probably Mahomes, because you know man, that kid is, you know, as long as he doesn't get hurt,
Yeah.
you know, that's the only hinder is going to hinder him, because if he gets hurt, Brady has not really gotten hurt that much in his career, you know, and it's going to take a long time to break his record.
But that's true.
Yeah,
that definitely benefited him. Yeah.
So it's going to take a long time for somebody to even break his record.
Yeah.
Unless, you know, somebody, you know, Mahomes is probably one of the kids, and it's going to get close to it.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's still early in life, though, man. He's still early. His career is still
exactly. Yeah, well, we 100% agree with that one.
Yeah.
So now just getting back into it, and what has your life been after football, family wise? Where are you currently at? And like I said, the only thing we were able to find is the gym. I think it was Rocky's Fitness.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I started off. I had a friend that had a mortgage company, so I got into the mortgage company back in 2008. Back in those days when the economy was getting dumped on, but I was in the mortgage business for a little while. Then I went and worked with my cousin at the gym, training some football players at that gym. And then, I didn't work for like 2 or 3 years when I got out. So I got married. I have two girls with my first wife, and then they're still in Cleveland. They still live in Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
So I'm remarried to a Tongan lady here. And then, I moved out here maybe about 10 years ago, just to come closer to my family. And, I have since got a little money from the NFL because of retirement. And, but now I started a construction company here in San Francisco. I mean, here in Hayward. So getting into the federal government construction, but it's in the process right now of getting contracts from the government. So that's where I'm at right now, and it's been nice. I mean, I moved out here because I was getting tired of the snow. We're getting a little older, and then your joints, every time it's cold and it's tough. But I like it here. I like it. I like the weather here. It's good and good for the joints. So
yeah.
You said it was to move out for family, but it was that reason.
Yeah, that reason. So I got kind of make it special. They think that I moved out here because of that.
And then now with the Tongan pro athletes,
Yes.
how did that start? Was who were part of building that
Well,
up?
yeah, I was just I was just an idea that I had that, I keep seeing all these athletes and the Tongan athletes, and I see how popular they are out in the world as athletes. The rugby, the football, and we have golfers now. We have baseball players, and I wanted to create a page to where I can highlight some of these athletes from Tonga. It's all over the world, plus the athletes that the trailblazers that are already forgotten,
Yeah.
in history of Tonga. So I had a couple buddies that I ran the idea by them. They said, "Man, that'd be a great idea." And that's what I wanted to do is to find these people to have a Zoom with them, just to bring them to life again. You know what I mean? Bring their story to life again. And we had a lot of these guys, like even for Manoa, he was a boxer out of Tonga. He lives in New Zealand now, but it's just a gratifying feelings, just for them to be able to say something and let the world know that our Tongan community, they're still there, and even give the history of that athletes,
Right.
because a lot of them, most of them, has been forgotten already. And our idea was to bring them to life again, so people can know where they're at now, and just to find out how they became a professional athlete back in those days, what kind of stuff they were doing, what kind of training they were doing, what kind of food they were eating, all that stuff, And it's just amazing that they made it to that level with no equipment, no diet, what kind of food they eat. They ate whatever was there to eat.
Right.
Right. But yeah, it has picking up a lot. We're getting a lot more attention on our page for having our Thursday conversation with our pro athletes. And we have a lot more. We have a whole list of athletes that we're talking to come on our show. And we just had, Hala Tingata last week, probably one of the top, probably one of the best football players that played the game at his position.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually watching that interview, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think you guys are right. I think he's headed towards the first Tongan
Oh,
to
yeah.
be in Hall of Fame. So
Yeah, I think he's going to be the first Hall of Famer for Tonga.
yeah.
You know, very humble guy. You know, you don't really hear about him, and you know, he's because he's that type of guy. I think his story is really amazing of what happened to him with his parents. You know, and for him to even make it to the level that he made it and be the best at his position, it's just it's an amazing story. You know.
Yeah, and I didn't know. I think I've heard during the draft when in his draft about um about his mom
Mm-hmm.
or one of his parents. No, his dad. Yeah, about his dad, and I didn't know that that happened to his mom right after. Also, so yeah, that's a lot of adversity to.
Exactly. Yeah. But he made it. He made it. He made. I think that was his. You know, his drive is to make his parents proud. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we have so many kids. I mean, so many kids nowadays they're coming up and playing. The why the page started because I wanted to highlight all these athletes because you know per capita I think even Tonga and Samoa has the most athletes, professional athletes out here. You know, even in the NFL. I mean, per
Yeah.
capita, we have you know probably have more
Highest,
kids.
highest percentage, I think.
Yeah,
Of
high percentage. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I actually remember that article. They were talking about that. Um, they compared the Polynesians to making it to the NFL, like Dominicans making it to the major leagues. So
yeah, because eventually we wanna do a Hall of Famer for Tonga. That's our goal is to eventually build the Hall of Fame in Tonga, and that's the goal right now that we are heading towards. But you know, that's in the it's in the beginning stages. Our page is only like 6 months old,
yeah,
but
yeah.
hopefully things are gonna happen.
Well, I was actually going to ask you, what is your plan for the next 5 years? But it sounds like that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that idea. That's really
Yeah.
cool. And to bring and for all you guys that are doing for the Tongan professional athletes, that's like you said, bringing it to light, bringing their story back. Because there's a lot of people at my age.
Yeah, some of you guys don't really know some of the.
I don't know like a lot of them. Like, so it's cool to see that. That oh man, I didn't know that we had so and so in this field of sport back then. Like
we're going to like even now. When we started this page, there's people posting stuff from the 1950s, boxers, and I was like, oh wow, we had professional boxers back in the day like that.
Yeah.
They were fighting in the UK, like all that. So, I mean, it's a lot of it. We get a lot of information from some of the relatives of the people that was in the playing professional. So they're like, man, this is great. So we can highlight and bring them to life again.
Yeah, and I know I joked about it earlier, but I think that's one of the things with Tongans is we don't talk about ourselves. So
no,
of course we're not going to talk.
Of course,
talk and tell our story.
We're too proud to talk about ourselves.
Yeah. So that's really great. That you guys are doing that. Did you have anything else for Tim?
No, I don't think so. I really appreciate it. This was very enlightening for me.
Well, thanks for having me. Let me know if you want to do it again.
Well, I was just gonna say,
I need to make you like some banana bread or some or something.
So probably right after this, we'll get your address because we do have she really makes great banana bread, and we make it all the time. So
if you're offering, I'll take it.
Definitely.
And now we know how many family members in the house. Make sure you guys have enough.
Yeah, and you're in Hayward, so it's
yeah.
So where are you guys at?
We're in Hayward.
We're in
too.
Hayward.
Oh, you are.
Yeah.
There you go, man.
Yeah. So my family is still in East Palo Alto,
Okay.
but yeah, we're in Hayward.
All right.
Um,
Awesome.
But yeah,
Awesome.
like Sierra said, we really appreciate your time.
Thank you
and-
for being our first ever
Yeah.
interview.
No problem.
Sorry, we've been kind of everywhere with our
Oh, no, that's good.
our
Hey.
questioning, but we're
That's
you know,
what makes a good conversation. It's not planned. You just talk about it.
yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. And yeah, we really appreciate your time, and we really appreciate what you're doing with the Tongan pro athletes. You know, it's great to see pioneers in our culture that made it, the journey to the NFL, and not just making it and just kind of like disappearing, but making it now, doing something about it with that knowledge, with that experience that you have. And yeah, we're really grateful for you, Tim, and we thank you for your time.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
and if we have anything in our podcast that has to do with the Browns or Penn State, we're probably gonna hit you back up for
All
some
right.
feedback.
No problem. No problem.
Thank you again for your
Okay.
time, Tim.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a great
Thank you.
day.
Have a
Yeah.
good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.